Wow, I never had a toy like that when I was a kid. I want one. Hello, model railroaders. Yes, it's been a while. And yes, you read it right. This is the gravel. Okay, wait. This is. How can I do this? I ran out of fingers. 6? Yeah. 6. Part 6. Uh, of the Glacier gravel. What is it? Glacier Gravel Company build. Yeah. I'm only calling it part 6 of the Glacier Gravel Company build because, it's part of the series. But actually, all we're doing this time is painting it. And I promised to do that a long time ago. When I finished building the kit, it was just way too hot out in the garage to paint this thing. So, alright, here it is. Well, here we are in the garage, also known as the paint room. Before I get into what I'm doing here, I just would like to point out a couple things about this model kit. The bottom part that I have taped off in blue here is kind of a lighter colored gray plastic, and I believe that that whole bottom part is supposed to be concrete. And then above that, what you have is all the walls and all the roofing pieces are supposed to be corrugated metal. So I wanted to kind of show off those lines. I wanted to see the lines of of each row of corrugated metal. So what I'm doing here is I'm starting off with a little bit more paint on the brush and kind of it's hard to see on this video, but I'm putting more paint at the top of each row of corrugated metal, and then I'm putting less paint as I go down. So in other words, I start at the top with some paint on the brush. By the time I get down to the bottom of the row, it's more of a dry brush, although I did stick a little bit more paint on in some areas. I just wanted to make it look disreputable, I guess is a good way to put this. And I think it worked out pretty well. I just wanted to set off the lines of the corrugated metal. So, on each wall, I think there's what, 3 rows of corrugated metal. So, yeah, it kind of set it off. I kind of liked it. Now, in this part, uh, what I'm doing here is just rusting up some of the metal braces, brackets. There's a little kind of a crane arm, swing arm up above the one window there at the top. And all I did was take some burnt sienna and start rusting them up. I thought that color looked the best as rust. So all the metal parts, including, you can kind of see in the back there, the stairway and the railing and everything, I rusted that up pretty good too. Um, Keep in mind here that this whole kit here, this is my first attempt at weathering a building, so I'm not really great at it. Didn't really know what I was doing, but I thought, well, hey, this kit is the perfect opportunity to try it out and learn some stuff. And yeah, it certainly worked out for that. So anyway, yeah, I'm just putting some rust on these brackets and the swing arm and all that. And then I took that rust color and kind of lightly dry brushed it down from those. I figured, well, if something's going to get wet and it's going to rust, well, there's going to be, over time, there's going to be rust running down the walls too. By the way, I'd like to point out here that I taped off the bottom of the kit, and that turned out to be worthless. I don't even know why I did that. I thought that I didn't want to get all the other colors down below, but as I proceeded to go along, I realized I don't know why I did it. Those colors would have gone down the concrete too. So by the time I get to the end of this, you'll see why it turned out to be worthless. I applied some real strong colors on the base of this model. Um, so all I did was cost myself a bunch of time putting the tape on around the foundation, and then I just had to strip it off and continue on down with the other paint anyway. But you know, that's the way it goes. Live and learn, right? So I also decided I wasn't sure what the chutes uh, coming out of the wall there were made out of, but I decided, well, yeah, we're gonna make them metal. So I started rusting those up too. Again, that was burnt sienna. Now the gray that I put on the walls, I believe that was French classic gray or something like that, or classic French gray. But yeah, worked out pretty well. It was just off gray enough, from the color of the model pieces to set it off. And I thought that worked out pretty well. And then here on the roof, I took a lighter shade. It wasn't burnt sienna. I believe it was another type of kind of like burnt sienna. I can't remember the color, but it was a lighter, rusty looking thing, and I thought it kind of looked like rust plus corrosion. So that's why I went with this lighter color on the roof. And uh, at first it was a really stark contrast, but as it all went along and as I started bringing it down the corrugated metal sheets, I think it worked out pretty well. Again, my whole goal for this kit was to make it look old and disreputable. And I think I think in the end you'll see that it worked out okay. Some things you can't see very well on the video, but I think it worked out pretty well. And originally, what I was going to do was make this into a airbrushing showcase. I was just going to airbrush everything and try to, get the angles of the paint and stuff right. But then I thought, well, if you're going to show rust going down corrugated metal, I think it's best to do it with a brush. And here you can see it's, I'm putting more and more on. I think that color looked pretty good. Not just a rust, but also, just corrosive material on the corrugated metal. So yeah, I kind of liked it. And of course, I'm going to carry that down the corrugated metal walls as well. Again, I don't know why I taped off the foundation. I should have let this just go right on down the sides. But yeah, I think it worked out pretty well. So what I ended up doing on these walls was I took that lighter color rust color, and combined that with some of the burnt sienna, and just kind of dry brushed it on there. And even though you can't see it real well in the video, yeah, it worked out pretty well. I just going for disreputable looking. And here we go with the tape. Got to pull it all back off again. So when I finally got the tape off, I started going after the foundation with that lighter corrosion color. I can't for the life of me remember what the color is. I also brought some rust down from under the chutes, stuff like that. But uh, I started putting that lighter color on there because I thought, well, the concrete would be old and kind of discolored, and there would be a lot of activity around a rock quarry like this, and it would be disreputable looking around the foundation as well. Um, Problem is though, is as I was putting this on, it just turned into more and more and more, and it's like, wow, I couldn't stop myself, and I just started putting this yellow color on everything down on the foundation, and by the time I got done with it, yeah, I didn't really like it. I mean, it didn't really serve the purpose. And then I thought, well, you know what? In this gravel company environment, probably what would happen is, between rain and washing equipment, and with all the, rock dust going in and out and all this kind of stuff, probably would be a lot of, rock dust splash on that foundation. So in order to kind of undo some of that yellowish color on the foundation, I just started dry brushing some of the gray around that foundation. And again, I just thought, yeah, that would be more realistic in that environment. There would be a lot of that rock dust all over it, so kind of offset it with that. Okay, I'm afraid I'm going to have to call this one. I was going to paint the peripherals with the airbrush. Peripherals being the the hoppers, the chutes. But the airbrush went nuts. I don't know if I had the paint mixed wrong or if it was too hot, but it just did not work, and I think I broke the airbrush. Anyway, the the main part of this is done. However, there's going to be another part to this video series. And in the next one, I'll show you putting this on the layout. It's going to be the only building on the layout. So anyway, yeah, it turned out pretty good. It's looks very disreputable. I like it. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you at the next stop. Well, if nothing else, this video should be in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most beard styles in one video. I'll tell you that for nothing. Mm-hmm.